My name is Kellie Gray, I'm 37 and I live in Market Raisin. I've lived there about 3 years now. I was diagnosed diabetic at the age of 11 and I'd never even heard of diabetes, so that was quite a shock really. And went through school, college without much trouble. And I guess it was 10, 12 years ago, I started to have a lot of health problems and nobody could really put the finger on what it was. I'd had several tests done, blood tests, ultrasound, you name it, and there just wasn't anything that had come up. It's funny really, I started my career in nursing. I wanted to be a paediatric nurse and work in paediatric intensive care. So I've always had this, just this wanting to know about what happens in the body and why. When I worked in London, I worked in Harley Street in a private medical practice, and that's how I ended up being seen at the Royal Free. Met a consultant there, had a few more tests done, sort of gastric emptying studies. I had also an EEG done, which is where you're asked to eat a particular food. It had to be a cheese and tomato sandwich, and then a tracing was taken of what happened in the stomach at the time. And within a couple of months I had a diagnosis of gastroparesis. The problem with the gastroparesis was trying to hold down a job. I was in London, as I said, at the time, so I had to get public transport, you know, you get on the tube, you're catching buses, then you have a walk. So by the time I got to work I was exhausted anyway, let alone trying to deal with the fact that, you know, the vomiting made me feel so unwell. And I had to stop work when I was 27, which I just couldn't believe really. And because of that, you become more isolated. So moving to Lincolnshire, yeah, things were difficult for myself naturally and my parents. There was actually very little they could do, and that must have been quite frightening for them. I'd approached my GP with regard to perhaps having some respite in the local hospice, and that didn't happen. And so my parents made their own inquiries at Andrews Hospice in Grimsby. We had a meeting with hospice staff, we were shown around, and it was very clear what a wonderful place it was. You sort of felt that the minute you walked through the door. And after a period of time, I attended the day unit and never looked back. The hospice have helped in so many ways that I couldn't really explain to you. When you're in hospital and you're in and out of hospital, you tend to not express how you really feel about things for fear of the men in white coats are coming, or, you know, oh, perhaps you should be on antidepressants. And, you know, that's not at all helpful, that isn't the answer. And, you know, I wanted to live through the ups and the downs of being unwell. You know, I wanted to appreciate a good day. So I quickly realised in coming to the hospice that that wasn't a concern of theirs. There was an an unspoken sort of understanding of what being ill, quite seriously ill, what it means, how it affects you in your day-to-day living. You know, so many people can't work, have financial problems. It not only affects you, it's your family, your friends. And I felt for the first time in about 5 years that I could honestly say how I felt about things. And over a period of time, I just felt this enormous sense of relief. And my outlook on my illness changed as well, because I wasn't frightened. I wasn't afraid to say how things were affecting me, and that I was perhaps angry, or, you know, just, I'm not a sit in the corner and, oh, why me kind of person. That doesn't come into it, you know. It is what it is, and you deal with it the best way you can. It was very clear to me just what a magnificent place the hospice is. I've had complementary therapies. Reiki I find particularly beneficial, and in the day unit on a Friday there's always Tai Chi, relaxation, and it's the simplest of things, like coming in and talking to people, you do have a laugh. People say that a hospice is God's waiting room. Well, actually no, it isn't God's waiting room. You know, it's a chance to live out the days that you have left, to, you know, just to the fullest that you can. The hospice, we often go out, we have a few days out, and there's always something happening at the hospice, whether it's the coffee mornings, just events that, even playing bingo, having a quiz, you know, it's stimulation, and it's not feeling so isolated with your illness. And even if you're not feeling well and you think, oh, I don't really know if I want to go in today, and you make the effort to get here, and it's a sense of achievement. And, you know, perhaps somebody else has not been feeling well and has made the effort to come. So there is that, you know, we support each other as patients, and that's so important. And you make a lot of close relationships, and you lose people. And that people, I think, become afraid of sometimes talking about somebody who's passed away. And that's okay if you do feel that. But if you want to share how somebody was, how they made you laugh, quirky behaviour, you know, that's okay too. You know, it's a magnificent place, and I certainly can't thank everybody enough for the support.